today that although humanity has evolved tremendously in the fields of economics, health, sports, etc., we are yet to unravel some, if not most, of the health challenges confronting us. We can talk about, you can talk of HIV and AIDS and several other diseases, of all of which continue to remain a mirage to health experts all over the world. Even before we got to this unfortunate state, Allah has assured mankind that He has provided a cure or solution to every challenge we face, according to the Holy Prophet. He said, Allah has said in the Holy Quran, Surah 94, verses 5 to 6. So, verily with every difficulty there is a relief. Verily with every difficulty there is a relief. What a lot of us as Muslims and humanity have failed to understand and accept circumstances is the fact that before there comes a cure, solution, a U-turn, etc., there is a prerequisite of change. For there is a saying which suggests that we can't expect different results, we continue to do the same old things. No wonder Allah has vowed in the Holy Quran that He surely will change our situation of helplessness if only we change the status quo. Allah says in Quran chapter 13:11, verily never will Allah change the condition of the people until they change what is within themselves. To the end of this ayah. It is very important that we remember the word never, especially when it is used by an authority like Allah. He said never. The Holy Bible, my chairperson, also stated in 2 Chronicles, and it reads, if my people who are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their evil ways, then will I hear from heaven and change their sins and will heal the land. Will heal the land. The land is sick. Muslims in Ghana are falling sick. Too long for my time. In specific terms, the Holy Prophet Muhammad has also assured us that Allah has a cure for all illnesses. He said there is no illness that God Almighty has created except that He also has created its treatment. Sahih Buhari. The question to ask at this juncture is that, are those challenges that we face today created by Allah for Him to provide a cure, or that we have created them ourselves and therefore they are not covered in this agreement? I go up with some few definitions. The word health means different things to different people, depending on the situation. If a lady says, I was worried about my husband's health when he climbed Mount Everest, it is clear that this woman is referring to her husband's physical health, possibly his heart, skin that is frostbite, and risk of developing hypothermia, which is the body's temperature dropping too low. On the other hand, if you hear the phrase, with all these deadlines, meditation and hard and working weekends, I wonder what the effect on her health will be like. Most likely, the word health in this statement refers more to a mental condition than physical, although the two are often used alike. The word's health or healthy can also be used in non-medical contexts. For example, a healthy economy needs an ideal GDP growth rate that is sustainable, one that remains in the expansion phase of the business cycle as long as possible. The English word health comes from an Old English word heal, meaning wholeness, being whole, sound, well, etc. Medical definition. The lexicon, that is the medical dictionary, has 3 definitions for health, one of which states the state of the organism when it functions optimally without evidence of disease or abnormality. So this is the way the medical, the physicians define health. In its attempt to widen the understanding of what health is about, the WHO defines health in the most famous modern definition of health as created during a preamble to the Constitution of the World Health Organization as adopted by the International Health Conference in New York in the year 1946. They said, health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. During the Ottawa Charter for Health Promotion in 1986, just 40 years after this definition, the WHO again said that health is a resource for everyday life, not the object of living. Health is a positive concept, emphasizing social and personal resources as well as physical capacities. The Lancet is a magazine in the medical world. An article in the Lancet states that health is not a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. Neither is it merely the absence of disease or infirmity. That is the challenge that Lancet also. That is the argument that Lancet also puts to the definition made by WHO. Now we come down to the Islamic definition. Islam, being a religion and a complete way of life, takes a holistic approach to health. Just as religious life is inseparable from secular life, physical and emotional and spiritual health cannot be separated. They are three that make a completely healthy person. When one part is injured or unhealthy, the other part suffers. If a person is physically ill or injured, it may be difficult to concentrate on anything but the pain, and this we all accept. That when you are ill, even with a tooth or the limb, your brains cannot work. If a person is emotionally unwell, he or she may not be able to take care of him or herself properly, or find their minds distracted from the realities of life. Islam considers health as a basic human right. It is for which reason Prophet Muhammad mentioned in one of the hadith saying, your body has a right over you, Al-Buhari. Islam, on the other hand, insists that health is a state of total physical, mental, and social well-being in order to maintain the quality of life that we can enjoy at our best performance. A Muslim's quest for good health is in conformity with his salvation in the hereafter as much as for the enjoyment of life in this world. For a Muslim, health consciousness is God consciousness. Anytime you are health conscious, be reminded that you are being God conscious. The Holy Quran is explicit in this matter and states, O ye who believe, be God conscious, and let every soul look towards what it has sent for the hereafter, and observe your duty to God, so God is informed of what you do. Be not like those who forgot God, and therefore He caused them to forget about themselves. Such are the wrongdoers. So to Ashok 18 to 19. And I'm saying, we will be very right for equating good health to strength, just as the Oxford Dictionary has stated. This statement means a lot to Muslims in view of the fact that the Holy Prophet Muhammad has indicated that Allah prefers a stronger Muslim to a weaker one, even though He stated that there is some level of goodness in the two of them. But still, the strong Muslim is preferred in the sight of Allah to the weak Muslim. It could be explained to mean that the believer who is strong in his belief, body and action is better than the weak believer, that is the one who has weak belief or weak body or weak actions. This is because the strong believer is productive and accomplishes things for the Muslims, and thus they benefit from his physical strength, actions, and his strong belief. Healing. Most of us continue to use the word cure, treatment, and healing indiscriminately, even though there are some little variations in them. When we talk of cure, usually we are referring to illnesses that are curable. It is for which reason you read that tuberculosis is curable. Never will you hear HIV is curable. While treatment is often used for illnesses that are only manageable, like HIV/AIDS. Healing, on the other hand, is usually applied to in the spiritual circles, hence spiritual healing. It is sometimes used for cats as well. Healing according to Islam is provided by none but by Allah. The Quran is not a textbook of medicine. Rather, it contains rules and guidance that, if followed, will promote good health and healing. That is why the Quran calls itself a book of healing. It reads in Quran chapter 10, 57, O mankind, there has come unto you a direction from your Lord, and a healing for the heart, and for those who believe in guidance and mercy. Again, it says, we have sent down the Quran, that which is a healing and a mercy for those who believe. 1782. In an Islamic magazine, the Muslim Woman, some physicians admitted the following. They write, we the physicians have come to know and accept the fact that is known to our patients for centuries, that healing is from God, and we are just instruments of the healer. We give the same medication to two different patients with the same type of medical problem, or perform similar operations on two patients, otherwise at the same risk, and one will survive and the other one doesn't. It is more than simple luck. As Socrates put it, I dress the wound and God heals it. This was also acknowledged by Prophet Abraham ﷺ, when he said, and when I'm ill, it is he who cures me. Quran 26:8. God himself attests to it by saying, if God touches you with an affliction, no one can remove it but he. Quran 6:17. As a chairman, I told you, I was making this error. But I'm chairperson. When we put all these definitions and sayings and conclusions, one can comfortably say that health goes beyond the field of study and earthly imaginations to satisfy any ultimate and eternal bliss attainable by humans. However, our presentation today shall mostly focus on the physical aspect of health, which is a prerequisite to all that is good, including paradise. There is much to learn from the saying of Herophilus, a physician. He said, when health is absent, wisdom cannot reveal itself. Art cannot manifest. Strength cannot fight. Wealth becomes useless. And intelligence cannot apply. Madam Chairperson, a business-minded person wants to readily invest in areas where he or she thinks there is a problem that requires a solution. And until recently, no one can imagine a businessman investing so much into sanitation. But today, we have huge investors like Zoom Lion Limited, and that is doing very well in providing jobs for men and women, and more importantly, improving upon the environmental sanity situation of ours. This situation is virtually the same with our health today. Let us ask ourselves the question, why do we have a high proliferation of health facilities? Have you started to ask that question? Why is it today that today you have this, that, this, how do you call it, diagnostic medical facility? In fact, it's all over the place. Have you started to ask that question? Do you think it's just for fun? It tells you something. You are falling sick. The answer is not far-fetched. People are becoming unhealthy today than ever in the life of this world. Putting on the thinking cap of the businessman, I can only say that these investors are making gains and nothing less. And if I'm right, of course I am, then it suggests that the Ghanaian Muslims and non-Muslims together are falling sick too often. But as a chairperson, I hate to ask this question. And I don't even know whether you be sincere with the question, with the answers. Doesn't the present situation of Ghanaians vis-a-vis the above hadith of the Holy Prophet suggest that our chances of securing Jannah is becoming slimmer by the day? He said that Allah prefers the stronger believer to the weaker believer. And now we are not becoming strong, but we're becoming weak. If the answer is yes, just as I know it to be, then it calls for drastic measures. Another means of appreciating the present gloomy health situation in our country is the measures of strange diseases and fatalities. that sometimes show no respect to any person, including those we assume to be healthy. Of course, I can mention the late Alhaji Tete, who died in action on the field of play. And I know that you also have a name or two to mention when it comes to this puzzle, the price we pay. Madam Chairperson, the monetary price we pay for healing is undoubtedly so huge that in an attempt by our government to establish national health insurance scheme to salvage the situation has resulted in a lot of difficulties known to us. Although faced with challenges, the NHIS is being welcomed by all, including Muslims. Surprisingly, in the United States of America, we understand that when President Obama attempted to establish health insurance recently, there were concerns raised by Muslim groups. The understanding of these Americans differ from our understanding, and why? Inshallah, the health insurance concerns of Muslims will be discussed in this presentation. What is more devastating about this gloomy situation is that there is a genuine feeling that if nothing is done in the short term, we may hit the critical stage. The stage which is most dangerous because other actions, and that is because our actions and inactions are acting as catalyst, just forwarding the situation. I am referring to the fake drugs and medicines, the annual doctor, nurses, pharmacists, and other health providers strike, the frequent and unannounced power cuts, popularly known as doom so. I understand that it is now doom so. Yesterday it was doom so. Madam Chairperson, I recently read a story on a very, very life-threatening situation during the latest industrial strike of medical practitioners in Ghana. A man who suddenly became ill and was taken to a clinic in Accra. Knowing the complicated and emergent nature of the situation, the doctor at the clinic referred the case to Kolebu Teaching Hospital. One of the few doctors at Kolebu, being aware of the pressure as a result of the strike, referred the case to First Seven Military Hospital, which was also referred to RIG for the same reason. After these fruitless travels with a suffering patient, the accompanying nurse coming from the first clinic, who was in the ambulance with the patient, had to call the doctor of her hospital to inform him of the difficulty in getting help and the looming danger. The doctor at this stage had to call Kolebu again and insisted that the ambulance return to Kolebu. During the second attempt at Kolebu, the patient had to wait for over 30 minutes in the ambulance. And according to me, he prayed for one patient or a patient to pass on before he was admitted and attended to. I still find it difficult to believe the latter part of the story, that this is what was captured in the story. Who am I to doubt, let alone deny it? It is understandable for any one of us to be wondering as to what was the cause of this sudden illness, which nearly took the life of this young man. And I promise to satisfy your curiosity pretty soon, inshallah. An obvious and necessary evil confronting us as human beings is the problem of side effects of the medicines we use with the hope of salvaging our health problems, which only worsens it. Publicist Cyrus, a physician, put it like this: there are some medicines worse than the disease. He said, there are some remedies worse than the disease. A physician speaking. No wonder Islam is a solution to humanity. The Holy Prophet, in his prayer for the sick, always beseech Allah for healing because he believes that Allah's healing comes without side effects. This is the shortfall of any human institution, and the health institution is inclusive. In the jihad, and Madam Chairperson, I'm choosing my words very cautiously. I can see Sheikh Bernoma here. I dare not make a mistake with this. In the jihad, and I'm saying that jihad, because jihad simply means to strive. Even though this was not done by Muslims, the effort alone tells me that it's a jihad. So in the jihad to salvage the lives of some Ghanaians suffering from killing problems on Peace FM 104.3 morning show program, hosted by Mr. Kwame Sefakan, a lady patient who was interviewed by Mr. Kwame Sefa, made listeners, including myself, shed some tears when she told her sad story. She stated that after being diagnosed of kidney problem, which was determined to take her life, she was put on a very strict medication in the form of injection, which will only postpone the arrival of her death. After paying for this very expensive drugs for some time, she could not afford it any longer, and so she sought for help from a relative overseas to buy the medicine for her. This time, fortunately or unfortunately, the medicine came to her and had an opportunity of reading the details on the medicine. To her surprise, this medicine that she thought was to save her life had in its leaf a dagger to take her life. That is the side effect of medicines. Not all of them, some of them. Other medicines may not kill, but the side effect could be so detrimental to our survival. Some Muslims today use bitters as medication, some of which only perform when mixed with alcohol or marijuana. Meanwhile, the teacher you and I believe in, Prophet Muhammad, has indicated that we believe in what they do, say, and we pay for the services they offer, which are un-Islamic. This, according to Prophet Muhammad, is nothing but shirk, a sin which is capable of denying us the favor of Allah's paradise. Madam Chairperson, a reflection on the picture painted so far shows that it won't just be absurd, but unwise for anyone of sex, occupation, status, and if you like, religion. The most sensible thing to do at this stage is not relying on any medicine, health practices, etc. Of course, this could be right to some level, but there is that aspect of the stray bullet and dependability scenario. That is when health is challenged, despite all the safety rules being put in place. It is for this reason and many more that I would want us to take our destiny into our own hands by following strictly every bit and piece, going to do what must be done and not doing what we love to do. Mr. Matrin, in his wise quote, says, the only way to keep your health is to eat what you don't want, drink what you don't like, and do what you rather not. I'll tell us, maybe I'll take it again. What you don't want, drink what you don't like, and do what you would rather not. During the last days of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu he's quoted to have said, Madam Chairperson, there is no other period or occasion for people like us to talk about medicine. So there's no need for medicine. Thomas A. Edison, he lived, a physician who lived between 1847 and 1931, stated, similarly, the doctor of the future will give no medicine. The doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, in diet, and in the cause and prevention of diseases. I think we are getting there, where people are now resorting to exercise so much, avoiding this and avoiding that, adopting this. This is what the physician of yesteryear is trying to drive. Madam Chairperson, it is just right we put a stop to our actions, for they are not worth what we want to achieve in the end. How many nations of the world have to use their hard-earned taxpayers' money to acquire medicines in an attempt to save the lives of cigarette smokers? A lot of us hardly take rest. We run more than one business, attend classes either in the evening or over the weekends. This practice results in us either cheating on our employers because we take more days off for medical attention or remain unproductive on the work. A very huge and significant neglect in our families. Again, the skyrocketing bank accounts we have as a result of the marathon scandal do not benefit us the way it should, because in most cases we use the same money to reform the very children we neglected. It happened during our lifetime. These neglected offsprings will come home, not just to take their share of the spoil, but to actually destroy what we suffered to gain at his or her expense. Someone will say, did we go or did we come? How many of the techie brothers and sisters that we see at Sudu do not have parents who struggle over the place, working this and working that, have this and have that, at the expense of those children? They exist. At the end of the day, they come home, sell those property that you have suffered to God because, of course, they don't have anything in their heads. We are doing this because we have failed to focus on the causes of ill health, and this ignorance leads to the hurting of the innocent body, which is a trust given to us by Allah, and expected to render accounts on it very soon. Knowledge, according to the prophet, is all that we need. Whoever is interested in prosperity in this world must seek knowledge, and whoever is interested in prosperity in the hereafter must seek knowledge, and whoever is interested in the prosperity in the two divides, that's this world and the hereafter, must seek knowledge. This critical knowledge with regards to our health as Muslims includes the following. 1. Guidelines for health. Say that, Madam Chairman, I'm going to quote the Quran post. It says, say, who has forbidden the beautiful gifts of Allah, which He has produced for His servants, and the things clean and pure, which He has provided for sustenance. Say, they are in the life of this world for those who believe, and purely for them on the day of judgment. Unhealthy food prohibition. That's number 2. Forbidden to you for food are dead meat, blood, the flesh of swine, and that on which carries. Eat of the good things we have provided for your sustenance, but commit no excess therein, lest my wrath should justly descend on you, and those on who descends my wrath do perish indeed. That's what the Holy Quran is teaching us. We should be mindful and moderate when eating. Fasting. The Islamic fasting is described as a way of training our mind and body in self-restraint. It's raised, or you believe fasting is prescribed to you as God prescribed for you so that you can learn self-restraint. And I want to state that if fasting is to teach us self-restraint, then this is the time for fasting to teach us to restrain ourselves from all those evil acts. In my bit of research, I sat down with a medical doctor at Amen Scientific, and to my surprise, he told me that the illness that brings the Muslim youth to the hospital the most is 1, STIs, sexually transmitted illnesses. Oh yes, it's true. It is not only sexual that gives you that thing, but 85 to 90% of that illness is through sex. Well, don't tell me that those brothers and sisters at the hospital, maybe it was at the salon, maybe no. Majority of them did what the Quran says must not be done. Number 10, value of exercise in maintaining health. Prophet Muhammad advised all Muslims to teach their children swimming, archery, and horse riding. He used to walk at fast pace. He ran with his wife Aisha. And I'm told that this Aisha lady, she even beat my Holy Prophet when they were running. This lady. I pray it's not her who revealed that hadith. I pray it's not her. Affliction with disease, that's number 11. Because whatever good, oh man, happens to thee is from Allah, but whatever evil happens to thee is from your own soul. And we have sent thee as a messenger to instruct mankind and enjoy, and enough is Allah for a witness. Number 12, what do you do when faced with disease? The Quran reads, if Allah touches thee with affliction, none can remove it, but if he touches thee with happiness, he has power over all things. Treatment. Narrated by number 13, narrated by Usama ibn Sharik, the desert Arabs once came from here and there to the Holy Prophet and asked, Apostle of Allah, should we make use of medical treatment? He replied, make use of medical treatment, for Allah has not made any disease without appointing a remedy for it, with the exception of one disease, namely old age. Abu Dawud. If we abide by Islamic teachings very well, our visit to the hospital will be for medical checks on most occasions, if not on all occasions. 14. Mental and spiritual health. Stress is the most common root cause of mental and spiritual ailments of modern age. Stress results from the following: A, fear of the unknown and trying to see through and control the destiny. B, losses in our life or in our life of people and things dear to us, and our inability to recover these losses. Madam Chairperson, One issue that makes me sad and uncomfortable anytime I visited the hospital is when I am attended to closely by a member of the opposite sex. And I believe it does the same to other Muslims, especially the Muslim woman. Yes, it does matter. It does matter, Papa. Yes, it does matter. When there is a possibility of reversing the trend, it matters. It matters. Don't tell me it doesn't matter because you don't have the doctors. Yes, I agree. But if you can reverse the trend, it matters. This system of ours has to deal with not just the illness, cost of treatment and medicines, as well as the pain that may accompany the illness, but also the avoidable exposure at treatment or cure. During my research, there was this doctor who told me that a Muslim lady of a client of theirs always attend the hospital with her husband. Even when the husband is not sick, why? She can't open her mouth to talk to the doctor.